This episode of Muddy River Gems is brought to you by Dot Foods.
I think what it comes down to is the culture and the people.
Our culture here at Dot is like no other. I've never experienced anything like what I've lived with for the last 12 years.
Dot is very diverse.
It is truly a family-owned business, but it is a family inside and out.
You always feel like you matter and you play a big hand in the pot.
There's so many opportunities to make a difference at Dot and really contribute to the success of the organization.
Since the 1960s, this space on West Main Street in Mount Sterling has been the site of the Brown County Public Library. On this edition of Muddy River Gems, we're going to show you how just a stone's throw away, there's a remarkable new space that they're moving into. After a dozen years of planning and going through architects and contractors and raising money, finally the move is underway from the old library to the new. Well, Richard, this is an enormous change from what was on Main Street, the little old library on Main Street. And what you've tripled your floor space, but not only, it's just the whole thing is so inviting and airy, and it just makes a statement, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, and that's one of the things we were after, to make it open. Mm-hmm. Our last library was not open, the last building was not open, and make it very inviting, light, bright, a lot of natural light, and just and the architects in designing this like grand opening, it just really opens it up.
It is
as
beautiful.
You come in the door.
Now we have to tell the audience, this isn't what this is going to look like. This is your first week during the move, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I mean, you're not even in here yet.
No.
You've been really good to allow us to come in and see it before it's finished. But this is what the layout is, and we're going to be able to go through the whole space and sort of imagine what's going to happen here.
Yep. You'll see it as is, as a work in progress.
As it's opening. So let's go in and take a look.
We just started on Monday. The book move, just started on Monday. Mm-hmm. And we've had networking people here, computer people, telephone people, copier people, everybody getting their things started, the technology.
Now I'm looking over here, I see a children's space. This is probably much more than you had in the old place.
Yes, much bigger. And you'll notice the trees and the leaves, and we tried to give it a Brown County theme. Mm-hmm. And make it inviting, bright, and things for our children to do. And we've got a reading nook. They can sit in and read.
Oh, that's neat. That is neat.
Yeah.
And then you got some little
toy
kitchen
box
stuff here to play
kitchen,
with? Okay.
Wooden kitchen. And, again, we were able to purchase these things with funds from the donations. And
yeah.
It's been a great blessing. We have some furniture that's just designed for small
just
children.
For kids, yeah.
For parents to be able to sit with their children. And so we're just excited about this.
And I assume, and you probably have this at the old building, but I assume that you'll have planned activities throughout the week that are happening at certain times, and that'll be full of kids just roaming around in here.
We have activities. We are fortunate enough to have a full-time program / marketing person. She does all of our marketing, advertising, and she also creates most of all the written documentation we use in the library, and she runs the programs too. So who better to advertise for your programs than the person running the programs?
Well, she's going to be busy in here, I tell you, because
so
she's got
we run programs now every day, and then we get a great portion. We get a great number of kids in every day after school. Mm-hmm. That come here to play and to learn and do their homework. And so we're excited about
the nice thing about this location is you're only about a half block off Main Street, which is where the old library was. So getting here is not an issue. You're not out of town or anything like that.
No, we were fortunate that we were able to. We bought these lots, and there were 4 lots here that we combined into one in 2018, and so we were fortunate to get this location.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep moving here. You can see the workmen are coming.
These are young children's computers here.
Okay, well let's take a look at one.
I mean,
it's not set up yet, but
yeah, this one is totally a learning by this company that makes these, and it's not connected to the internet. It's all self-contained, and so the young kids can play with this, and you can see the keyboard's coded. And we'll have 3 other computers here for children of younger age. So.
So you don't really have to worry about the internet or what might pop
Not
up.
on
This
this
is
one.
all pre-programmed.
Right.
Yeah, good.
But our internet is controlled. We do have a E-rate tax money from the government. You know, so you have to have protection on the system, and we do. Adams provides that for us.
I love these benches, these sawed out trunks.
Very.
That is neat.
Again, yeah, I did. This is the young adult area, and so more modern seating. Chairs are a little laid back, and cafe. There'll be computers, about 3 computers back there for the young adult area.
And those will be, have those been purchased yet?
No, they're in the old library. We have to move over.
You have them already?
We have 6 computers over there that we'll be moving over. So.
Yeah, this is neat, like a high top.
Uh-huh.
And the books are starting to arrive. You
Books
can see
are starting to arrive. Yeah. This is the adult area. We have a fireplace.
Oh, that's cool. That's nice.
And we have lots of natural light coming in, and reading area by the windows back here.
Okay, is this the back wall that we're looking at?
That's the back wall.
Okay, all right.
That's
and of course, a lot of these books have been moved in already. Are you gonna? Do you have money to purchase books to fill this up, or are your old books going to do it?
No, when they designed the building, they increased the shelf space by like 20%.
Sure, go ahead.
So, as you can see, not all the shelves are totally full, which is a better way. I mean, in the old library, everything was packed in. That's not as inviting because it's hard to pull the books out. If somebody wants to look at one, it's hard to jam it back in. So there's free space now, allows room for growth, plus it's easier for the people to access. We're not using, some of the places we're not using the bottom shelf, some places we are. We're not using the top shelves for now.
Plus, when you want to increase your supply of books, you got room to do it.
And we did buy additional books. We had enough funding to buy about 300 additional books just as an opening day collection for the new library, beyond what we normally buy every month. We have a company from Peoria moving the books for us.
And then this side is all, looks like it's all private rooms that can be closed off.
Right. This is our conference room. That can also be used, you know, during the day if somebody wants to reserve this room, you know, it can be used.
The public could use it too, not just staff.
And then it's all technology. This is one of the things that's incomplete at this time. We're waiting on the cubby to come in here, which I think it was just shipped actually yesterday. So we're getting close.
So
little bits and pieces to finish up here.
You never know, do you?
No, you never know. No.
Okay.
And this is a local history room where we'll move, you know, high school yearbooks, local history books, and things that are local and maybe Illinois related into this room. There'll be a display case there, which we're still waiting to come. And so...
Brown County history and expanded a little.
Yeah, expanded.
West Central Illinois, huh?
Local history room. This is a 5-person study room. Again, we're waiting on a little bit of finishing up in here that people will be able to use to tutor, to do stuff online. There'll be a TV mounted up there. And this is a 2-person study room here. Again, these are things that we didn't have in the old library.
Yeah.
When we have tutors on a regular basis, and they just have to sit out in the open library in the old building.
Yeah.
And so they're right there with all the noise and commotion. Now they can go in here and allow the students to maybe concentrate a little bit more.
A little bit better, yeah. No, service desk is going to be here, but it hasn't arrived yet.
No, the service desk has not arrived. It will sit right here, right in front of this. It'll be the center, the focal point of the library when you walk in. It's a big piece of furniture, and it'll sit right here. So.
And this will be the workroom for staff?
This is staff work area. Yes.
Boy, it's big. Yeah. The restrooms?
Restroom. And we have a kitchen area. Here.
Oh yeah, nice. Okay, so there's a restroom here. There will also be public restrooms out there.
They're out in the front.
In the front, okay.
Right. And there's 2 public restrooms, And then there's also a family restroom out in the children's area. So, and then this here is the book drop, where the books are dropped in from, and it's a drive-up book drop. In the old library, people had to get out of their cars. Now they can drive up, drop their books in the book drop. And then this is also book lockers. So people can request their books and their holds can be placed in this locker, and they can access them with their library card outside 24 hours a day.
Really? Just drive through and pick up your book?
Drive through and pick up your book.
So they've called ahead, or they've emailed ahead and said what they want?
They reserved it online, and they can choose book locker, and then we will put the book in a book locker, and when it will sign it to their card number. So when they scan their card, it knows, oh, locker number 5 is this person, and it will open up the door so they can get their book out.
That is nifty.
Yeah.
How easy could that be? Nice big space here. How many staff do you have, Richard?
We have 3 full-time and 1 part-time staff person. We also have someone that we hire in the summer to help us do summer reading, a retired school teacher, and she helps lead our summer reading program. Here's the women's restroom, men's restroom,
restrooms, and then
storage closet.
Okay.
And then this is our community room.
Oh, that's wonderful. Huge. Wow. And you've got a little kitchenette again with the refrigerator.
We and it's technology set up for Zoom. So things can be recorded. Speakers in the ceiling, microphones in the ceiling.
Wow.
We bought tables and chairs to seat 85 people in this room, and this can be used after hours.
So
there's a gate out there that we didn't look at. There's a gate out there that can be lowered and secured so that public only has access to.
So when the library's closed, they can use this space
after hours. Yes.
Okay. Give me an example of what kind of a group would use this. Any kind of a civic group or a...
Yeah, and it could be somebody wanting to have a birthday party. It could be a civic group wanting to meet and in here run a meeting.
Will there be a charge to use this space?
Yeah, and we're writing the policy right now.
Yeah.
We have a committee. The board has appointed a committee to work on that, and they've already had some meetings, and they're continue to develop the policy. And we didn't have a meeting room before, so we didn't have a policy. So we gathered samples from 20 or 30 different libraries. We've tried to pull and customize it to our needs. And so it's still in the process.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So
it's beautiful.
We're excited about it, that we'll be able to offer this to the public.
Is there anything that we haven't seen?
No, I don't think so.
That's about it. Okay, we're going to delve into a little more about the particulars about how this whole project came together, the years that it took to raise the money and put it together, and talk to some of your colleagues.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We'll be back with more from the new Brown County Public Library after these words from Dot Food.
From our trucks to their lunch trays, to your local hospital, to your favorite pub, and to your kitchen table. For more than 60 years, Dot Foods and Dot Transportation have been stocking the shelves of your hometown. Sure, we've grown a lot, but at our core, we're still small-town, family-run businesses that care about our communities and the people who keep us running. Join the Dot family today and be part of something bigger.
Why work at Dot?
You could list out individual qualities forever.
There's a lot of opportunities. They take care of the employees, they take care of the community.
So our pay, our benefits, it's competitive. Time off, tons of flexibility.
They're willing to work with you to help you advance.
Well, Jeremy Flynn, you're the president of the library board, and you've been on the board for a good long time.
Near 20 years, I think.
So you have been on this project since it began, and I guess it was fits and starts, wasn't it? Trying to get a new library built.
Yesterday, as we were planning on doing this, I kind of went back through some emails because one forgets, all the process. And the first one I had was back in 2010 when we first started the first program where we sat down with a professional, went through the ins and outs of what we'd want in a new library. At that time, we had a lot purchased just behind where Dorothy's Market is. Mm-hmm. So at that time, one of the plans was to have the library built there. And, Dot wanted to put Dorothy's Market and Hagel, which was great for our community. So we sold that lot to Dot and started looking for a new location, which we found next to the courthouse. And so that was in 2012. Mm-hmm. And we went through the whole process, designed a building, picked an architect, did the soil samples, applied for the Illinois State Library grant, and unfortunately missed out on that opportunity. So our process kind of restarted, and that was, like I said, in 2012. And wow. And then
13 years.
Had to kind of reset, refocus, kind of reevaluate what we wanted in that library. And in the meantime, this location where the current library, or where the new library is going to be, opened up, and we just thought that was just a perfect location. Mm-hmm. It's close to the downtown. It's close to Main Street, which was important to us. It's close to the elementary school, mm-hmm. which was important, that we wanted to stay on this side of town if possible, so children could walk back and forth. And it allowed us some more space that the other lot didn't provide us, so we could have parking, on lot. That was something that our old library didn't have. So that process started probably 2015, mm-hmm. and was a long uphill battle. But one of the main kind of things that pushed that into the next area of focus is a matching grant. At the time, it was an anonymous donation from Tom and Catherine Tracy, and since then she's agreed to accept the recognition that she so rightly deserves, in my opinion. Yeah. She was a longtime board member, and she was the president of the board between. I was for several years, and then she was, and then now I've been for several years longer. But she moved away, and so she left the board, which I know she was disappointed to do that. But she still stayed involved, and so that matching grant really inspired the community, I think, to really step up. And behind you is the donor wall.
This shows that it truly was a community effort. Now, even
really
if you have a large matching grant to begin with, just to put this into perspective, I think we're talking about a total of about $5 million for the building.
Over $5 million.
And that doesn't include the property, which was bought before that. So you're talking about a really big expenditure. Yeah. And thank goodness for Tom and Catherine that made the matching grant of about $2 million. Mm-hmm. So that's a good start.
That's a good start.
Very good start.
And then we were able to apply for the state library grant again, and were awarded that. And so that was 2.25. So that was but $1 million from private donors in a community our size is just remarkable. Yeah, remarkable. And I'm proud of what we've been able to do here, and I'm just excited to be able to open it to the community. Mm-hmm. It's been even after those things, it's been a battle, because we went through the process of picking an architect, designing the building, and then putting the building out for bids in 2022. And at that time, we only got one bid back, and it was over our budget, $2 million over the budget that we had set. Boy. So we had to go back to the drawing board, redesign it, shrink the building, which in my opinion, I think is beneficial, because it gave us some more outdoor space, additional parking, some green space that we weren't sure that we were going to have, that we're going to utilize to create some outdoor reading space in the spring and the summer of this year. And so, even though it's been difficult and challenging and a long process, I think it's going to pay out in the end. And I'm just excited to, these last couple months, there's been a lot of little things that have had to you know, it's just always difficult.
You always
in a
become a
process.
contractor when you're overseeing something being built,
Yes,
aren't you?
you're
Because
correct.
every decision has to be remade again and
Yep.
again and again.
Yep.
So it looks like you all did a very competent job, though, of being contractors, because it looks useful, but it also looks attractive, which is
Yeah.
a really nice combination.
I'm glad you think so, and I think the community will find that to be the case as well. I mean, it's a much bigger space, but we're going to bring a lot of new things to the library and be able to just expand on what we have. A great staff, and what they've been able to do with the space that we had previously is amazing, and the amount of programming and the amount of participation that we've seen over the last 5 to 10 years has grown every year. And so what they're going to be able to do with this new space is I think it's going to be remarkable, and I'm excited to see what that looks like.
Yeah.
So
Well, Jeremy, thank you.
Thank you.
And congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Jenny Zimmerman, you're not only an English teacher at the high school, but you're also a mother, and you were also a library brat when you were a
Yes.
kid, right? So,
Yes.
So this building is nothing like the library you remember as a kid.
Yes, so coming in this morning is the first time I had seen this one. My mouth kind of hit the floor when
No
I
kidding.
came in.
This was your first entrance, huh?
Yes, I've been driving by it, admiring the construction for months. But yes, this is an amazing space. Our library has done wonderful things with their very small building, and they have built out amazing programs, but I'm just looking forward to what they can do with this space, and it's so welcoming. I think the community's going to love it.
Well, as a teacher, let's walk through some of these spaces. There's one right behind you here, which is, they call it a creative space, and I'm assuming there's going to be not only a computer, but there's going to be little items and things in here that kids can use to make things,
Yes.
to draw things, to write. And as an English teacher, writing, of course, is a very important
yes.
thing.
And I think a space like this is going to be excellent because the library has routine programs that they do after school. They've got like a Lego club and things like that. So they're constantly, not so much my kids because I've got older students, but from the elementary school, I know they've got quite a little group of people who come in after school. And our middle school program has a really good STEM club. So there is such an interest with that with our kids. So to have another space for them to do that is wonderful.
Robots in here.
Yeah,
who knows? I mean, I've got a granddaughter who's into robotics, and when they were in elementary school, they were building.
Right, and our kids do amazing things with the people who are helping them. So I'm looking forward to what they will do with things like this.
Let's walk this way. And I mentioned that you were, as a kid, you were a library brat. But
Yes.
your parents, it's really nice because that's a place where they can drop a child off and not have to worry about anything.
Yeah, so I remember when my mom would work in town, we lived out in the country, and if it was a big deal to not have to ride the bus home, and she would let us walk to the library until she got off work. So as a small child, feeling very grown up, that I could walk up to the library and be there and check out books, find a nice comfy seat to read, and it was just something that I really enjoyed.
And you knew everybody probably because they were all doing the same thing all the time, right? So it was a little club, a little reading club. Well, it was good for you.
Yes.
It got you where you are.
Yes, it worked well.
These are a study room. Now this is perfect because I mean if I need a tutor, and I don't want to be out here where everybody's listening to everything we say, you got a little privacy.
Yes, and that was, I know a lot of people would do tutoring would tutor for students, and at the old library, they truly were out, like the tables they were at, it was out with everything else. So it was loud, it would be difficult for them to focus, so this is going to be a great spot for kids and their tutors to use.
And there's no end to the opportunities
No.
here. Now this one's totally different laid out. This is going to be a history room.
Yes.
But for readers, history is a terrific thing to be able to dive into.
Yes, and I think simply having a space dedicated, like with it labeled. I mean, and they were doing a lot with local history at our old library building, but I think sometimes people who, even with their lifers, they simply don't know everything that's going on, everything that's happened here, because it just hasn't occurred to them to explore it. And having this space, this might encourage some people to do that.
It gives them a place, for instance, if you have old Brown County maps, for instance, a place to hang those, or if people make donations of historical items, it gives you a place to display them.
Right.
And then you can also put them back in storage, bring them out when you want to, that kind of thing.
Right.
But having a history room is a big deal.
Yes.
Very nice. And then this is, of course, could be used by any number of reasons, but a conference room is always really good.
Yeah, and simply having these study spaces. I know I teach high school so often. I've got college-bound seniors, and I'll talk to them about times I remember in college, like going to the library on campus with my roommate and studying and things like that. And at first they were confused. They're like, well, you need to check out books to study? I said, no, it was simply the space, that change in environment. It was a space away from the things that were, you know, in your dorm room or at home that were going to distract you, and you went in with a specific purpose. You're going to get things done. And sometimes they talk about, well, you know, like, I work better at school, or I work better in these other places. So for them to be able to view the library now, like, since there are these workspaces, as a place where they can come and if they need to be productive in a different environment, or if they need to get together with some people and work on a project, this is now a space.
You know, as an English teacher, you probably know this, feel this more than most people. The written word and books, everything has changed. I mean, kids don't, a lot of them don't read books. They have they have phones, they have electronics, they don't have books. How do you make this library change to become alive that way?
Well, so I am somebody who, like, yes, I'm an English teacher, but I think I view this, and I got this from my mother, who's also an English teacher. She's just at the junior high level. A big part of my job is to grow readers. And so my students, they might not necessarily start out by using the library here a whole lot, because I've got a big library in my classroom. But then when they say, oh, well, somebody else is reading that book, I'm like, go up and talk to Miss Kim at the library. Even if they don't have a copy, she'll get it for you through interlibrary loan. But kids, even though they spend all their time on their phones, a lot of them, they don't want to read on their phone. They like the paper book. They want to have that. And I know I do as well. But they like that. They want that book in their hands. And I think when kids are surrounded by books, they're more likely to read books, because then you can just put a book in their hands. And I think this new space, with it being more inviting, maybe this might get kids who wouldn't use the library for other things. Maybe they come up to use a study room or something like that, and while they're here, they see the display of new young adult fiction or something like that, and they pick up a book. I was talking with Kim about the fact that I think the children's section is so inviting and it kind of shows, like, in a perfect world, you've got this progression where kids come in and they fall in love with reading because the library is a fun place, and they come and they have fun with their friends and they learn new things, and they just kind of get pulled in. And since it goes from children to, you know, young adult to adults in the back of the library, the goal is just kind of, as they grow up, you just want them to keep moving further back into the library.
Well, thanks for the visit. Appreciate
Thank you.
it. We're here during moving week. By the time you see this, the new library should be open for business. Thanks for watching Muddy River Gems, brought to you by Dot Foods. I'm Mark McDonald.
This episode of Muddy River Gems was brought to you by Dot Foods.